Hello to all of you early birds. I like to go live just a little bit early to make sure everything's working smoothly. That way it still gives me a couple minutes to fix something if I have to. You sound good today, not too loud? Good to know. Good to know. Am I usually too loud? Lighting is muy bueno. Yeah. This is just with my room overhead lights on right now. That's all I have on. My so I have like 2 lamps at my desk that I use for lighting, like for the build streams lately. And sometimes I've had those on the last couple of streams for the main show of Top Clack, I think. But the surge protector that I had like all of them plugged into died like 2 nights ago. So I can't use those tonight. Hoping to pick up a surge protector tomorrow so I can do an interesting stream. Holy Jesus review coming very soon. USPS shows that my pandas will actually arrive today. So the plan is to do a stream tomorrow where I will, test them, experiment with them, lube some up, build a board with them, and see how they perform against the original Holy Panda board, which is my X60 in my closet right now. Time to get the big old Belkin. Yeah, I've always thought about that too. So the plan is to continue the stream until the pandas arrive? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I mean, I have to go get them from my mail. Which, like, I live in an apartment complex, and to go get my mail, it's like a 5-minute walk. It's a pretty big complex. It's like a 4 or 5-minute walk just to get to the office, grab a package, then obviously another 4 or 5-minute walk back. Hello, all of you that are joining us a little early now. I won't officially start the show until 6 or so. Just checking to make sure everything's going well. Sweet Seakeys shirt? Yep, representing the Seattle Mechanical Keyboard organization. Hello, Top Click. On-stream mail call, bring the postman online. I mean, if they delivered straight to my door, I might give that a try. But they do not, sadly. 24-hour Top Clack live stream win? It is something I want to do. Completely serious. I do want to do a 24-hour live stream of some kind of sort, whether it be like for charity or something. I think a 24-hour live stream would be ridiculously difficult, but also very fun. Even if it's something like passing the baton, like to another streamer as you go or something. You want to get one of these shirts? They're up right now for a donation. Yeah, you can buy these shirts. Yeah, it's at ckeys.org, like C, like the letter, KEYS.org. And all the funds go to like workshops that the Seattle keyboard people do. It's pretty awesome. Pretty darn awesome. Ron DG, thank you so much for that sub, my friend. it'll be easy with our time zones. Yeah. Yeah, like maybe I could do 12 hours, then you can do 12 hours, or something like that. Brian just sitting here alone, not talking. What? I've been talking. I've been interacting with chat for like 5 minutes now. Just making sure everything was set up. I like going live a little early so I can you know, make sure everything's going well and kind of just zone into it. You know how it goes. Did I receive the Holy Jesus yet? Today. After the show, I'm gonna go check my mail. It should be there. So that's the plan. And then tomorrow, I'll talk more about it later once I officially start the show. Tomorrow, I will be streaming with some pandas. Starseason 3 to sub with Twitch Prime 8 months in a row. Thank you so much for that. Yay. You just got here, Pudsey? Well, then how do you know what happened before you got here? Alright, so it only took the bot about 5 minutes to ping in Discord that time. That's not too bad. It took 15 the other day. There is no before, only Pudsey. What's Holy Jesus? I don't know why people are calling them Holy Jesus, honestly, but that's, I think, what some people are naming the new Panda switches that are coming out of Group by Runner Supervan. That are $1 million. $1 million is a lot for some switches. Alright, we're a little past 6 now, so I will officially start. I'm gonna roll a little bit of an intro real quick. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Top Clack. I am your host, Quakeums, and I got some good stuff in store for you today. We got a very full news doc. No guest, unfortunately, but do have a nice full news doc for you guys, and some fun stuff to talk about. I will do a Q&A at the end of the show, just like I always do, so keep that in mind as well. Titan721, thank you again for the Tier 1 sub. Here's my $2.50. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Alright, so I know a lot of you want to talk about lots of fun things, and I am totally okay with that. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of a mail call, because I did get at least one thing in so far this week. I got this little awesome package courtesy of Norbauer. And if you guys might not know what this is the packaging for the Norbaforce. So, pretty awesome stuff there. I do plan to... I don't actually have a real force to put in the Norbaforce yet. So, I do plan on getting one of those probably sometime in December. And I will definitely be streaming a build where I build it up, lube it, dome swap, and put it into the Norbaforce. So, that's going to be some fun times. I guess I can show you what color I got. Oh, my lighting's not amazing right now. Got the Space Station White. It is very, very white. And it looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. Another thing that I haven't received yet, but should be arriving today, if it hasn't already in my mailbox, is the new Panda switches. So this has been, I don't know, a ridiculous topic of controversy as of late. The new Panda thread on Geekhack is already like 10 or 11 pages long, and people have just been going back and forth about how much they love this and that and hate this and that, and it's frankly been kind of a shit show. I'm not really involving myself too much in that thread, but the group buy runner for the new pandas, aka Super Van, hit me up a couple months ago and he said, "Hey, I'm thinking about making some panda switches. Like, can you test them for me? Can you make sure that like they're the way they're supposed to be?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, just send me some." And he's like, "Okay, I will send you some for free." And I want your opinions and your thoughts on it, and let me know how they are. So I said, "Okay." And so a couple weeks ago, he sent me some, but they hadn't arrived to me until presumably today is what tracking says. I think they got stuck in customs. Big surprise. But yeah, so I will be doing a stream where I test the pandas, experiment with them, lube them, put them in a board, try to replicate the Holy Panda experience on the OG Holy Panda board that I have currently, which is my X60. So I'll be doing a lot of side-by-side comparison. I'll be using the same lube and everything, the same methods, so that way I can try to get to the bottom of whether these are like truly pandas or not. I know Nathan Kim just did a stream not too long ago, I think it was 2 days ago even, where he did a similar thing. So I will be doing my version of that as well. So there's that. Look forward to that if that's something you're into. And we can definitely talk a lot more about the specifics of, you know, the switches and the group buy and Super Van, you know, whatever you guys want tomorrow. I can give my opinions on things. But, you know, your boy tries to stay neutral because I just want accurate information and for people to know what's up and learn things. So that's kind of where I am with that. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. Oh boy. I don't know if... I don't think I'd ever want to bring you on to talk about the new Panda switches, Pudsey. I feel like this show would just turn into a meme. Ever get that Zephyr working? I did. I'm actually using it right now. It works totally fine now. No idea what happened. Anyways, now that people are starting to roll in here, and I do thank you guys for that, I'm going to move on to the news doc. Let's move into it because we actually have a fair amount of news today, so I want to make sure I can get through it all in a reasonable amount of time. So let's head over to that. So first thing is first, we have an interest check for a GMK set called Achromatic. And this is a pretty interesting set. Lots of gray going on here. If this is if you're one of the people that like sets like Oblivion or just darker sets, maybe, you know, like Dolch potentially, this is potentially for you. Sorry guys if I sound kind of sick. I am most certainly getting sick. I'm very congested right now. Links, okay. I was really on the ball last episode with links, so I'm hoping to replicate that again. But of course, you guys are gonna punish me for it if I'm not. So I'm here. I got you guys. There's the first link. Anyways, so yeah, GMK Achromatic looking pretty good. IMO. I'm a big fan of, you know, boring sets like this that are a little bit more neutral. I think they play a little bit better with multiple colors of boards, so it's a little bit easier to mix and match. Pretty cool stuff. I like the name. I like the colors, and I like the kit breakdown. I was hoping to get some more. Wait, is there more renders? Okay, so I'm hoping to get like actual renders, like on a board. That's always what I like to see in a interest check. So hopefully that that comes soon. Looks like it's next on his to-do list. I do like that people actually have to-do lists in like every interest check these days too. I'm really happy that people actually go through and do that. All right, so pretty darn nice. We honestly don't have like a ton of info. This guy just gives you know, a little bit of a background to himself and you know, talks about how neutral they are. So yeah, decent compatibility. I'm looking forward to this. Just need to see some more renders, and then we can maybe get some pricing info. Achromatic. Am I saying it wrong? I'm sorry if I am. I English bad. He does link this the dictionary link though, which is pretty darn hilarious. All text mod, yeah. So that's kind of different as well. Although I think we did see that on Oblivion. Anyways, yeah, make sure to show interest in this if this is something you're into. I think the potential's definitely there. Neutral sets usually tend to do pretty well. Things like 9009, Muted, Oblivion, Dolch, like all sell really well just because of their compatibility. All right, moving on. We have another interest check for a GMK set called Metropolis. And this one's kind of interesting. He actually does have a render on a board, thankfully. Nice, helps us out a lot, gives us some perspective on how we can actually see it when it's on a board. KB Warriors, what's up, my friend? Thanks for joining. Ugh, I hate getting sick. Anyways, so Metropolis, here's your base kit. Pretty darn rich on compatibility. He does mention earlier that it is based on, or well, close parallel to traffic lights. So that's something I kind of noticed immediately. You have your, your red, your yellow, and your green, your light green lights. So stop, slow down, and go, which is pretty darn interesting. I like a lot of this set. I like the base kit. I like the base colors. I'm not a big fan of having so many different colors for the mods. Kind of like the way the Oblivion's normal base kit is, or like Penumbra. I don't like the CMY or RGB mods. I think it's just a little too colorful for me. But thankfully, this guy has what he's calling the Midnight Kit, which makes it all monochrome. So I think it'll look a lot nicer. So very curious to see how this is going to go. It's very blue and black heavy set. I'm curious to see how this compares to something like Solarized Dark even. I think the potential's there. This guy has a pretty well laid out interest check. I like this a lot. He's got he's got a render on a keyboard. He's got all your base kit and your side kit laid out. He's got your color codes. He has a nice sorted to-do list. Very, very nice. As well as a little bit of a backstory on inspiration and of course a Google survey for you to fill out. Let me link this. I don't think I linked this yet, right? I'm not gonna miss a link, guys. That's the plan. It's teal? Okay, fair enough. I mean, teal and blue, kinda similar. Don't you patronize my colorblindness. Anyways, a pretty nice looking set. I would imagine that this set will definitely make it to the group buy phase. So make sure to show some support if this is your kind of thing. Next up, I'm gonna post a link immediately so I don't forget. We have an interest check for DSA Frost, courtesy of Younglad. And he's got some nice renders. This is another well laid out interest check. He has tons of information, tons of pictures. His inspiration are these kind of snow-capped mountains. Absolutely beautiful. I'm a sucker for sets like this that use a lot of like white and light blue. I think that just matches really, really well. And I think this is no exception. This looks absolutely gorgeous to me. We don't see a whole lot of DSA sets these days either, which is kind of refreshing. But yeah, nice renders, which makes sense because he is a designer, so he actually does do his own renders, I imagine. Nice little kit breakdown here. We have alphas, 60% mods, TKL mods, of course specialty modifications, and other things like 40% numpad accents, space bars. And, oh, look, some more renders on some cool boards, which I do. Ooh, on the M60. I do like that. I do like that. That is nice. The set kind, like, obviously I know I'm kind of colorblind. You guys already know that about me by now. The set vaguely reminds me of Hana. Just the way that, how light the blue is. I know Hana is like purple with pink accents or whatever, but this vaguely reminds me a little bit of Hana. But I love Hana, and I love this. So again, there's a link in the form, interest check, if you want to support this. Maybe make some recommendations for alterations or adding or subtracting things. Pretty cool stuff. I like this a lot, and good luck to him. I like Younglad too. He's an A+ gentleman. Next, we have something that people have been waiting for quite a while, actually. So, GMK Calm Depths. If you guys maybe are a little bit newer to the community, Calm Depths years ago, maybe 2013, 2014, used to be a ridiculously popular colorway. It was one of those sets that everyone just had to have. There weren't very many of them. SA sets, by the way. This is, as far as I'm aware, the first time GMK is doing Calm Depths. So we get a little bit of a throwback here. 2015 to 16? I think it was 14. I don't know. Anyways, GMK Calm Depths, ridiculously popular colorway from a little bit in the past. Coming at you here from Kono, and the first thing I noticed, the first thing I looked at this page was, oh god, how much is this going to cost? $125 for the base kit. That is actually pretty darn reasonable. I was really surprised to see that. And compatibility, maybe not the absolute greatest, but actually pretty darn good. It even supports ISO, which is nice. We have seen richer kits come out of GMK sets in the past, but for a $125 base kit, this is looking pretty darn rockin'. I like this a lot. Calm Depths, pretty good colorway, very classic in our community. Can't argue with that price. Another thing I noticed that was kind of interesting is they have, what are they calling, the assembly kit, which is a little bit more. This one is $140, but this is for people that use stuff like the ErgoDocs. So this will give you compatibility there. I'm not an ErgoDocs user, so I don't know like if this kit is necessarily missing anything, but it seems pretty feature-rich to me. So this way, if you're someone that just like has to have ErgoDocs and doesn't use anything else, you don't even have to buy the base set plus like any kind of modifiers. You just buy the assembly kit and bam, you're ready to go. No extra money. Love it. Absolutely love it. They have a Spacebars kit as well for $22, and that'll get you, you know, some of your less common Spacebars that you rarely see in the community these days, but they're out there. But absolutely loving this. Price, really on point here, guys. I'm hoping that you know, we can see more lower price, because you know GMK Shoko just got dropped recently down to like $138, I think is what it was, and that has even more keys. So we're starting to see GMK prices, at least on Kono, drop pretty darn low, and I like seeing that because I don't like paying $170 or $180 for a GMK set. So very happy about this. This is, of course, in the group buy phase right now. Yep, designed by Oblotsky, my man. This group buy will close on the 1st of January, so you have a little bit over a month to join this. Not too shabby. And I don't think they actually say, but I would imagine... Okay, they do. They estimate that the keycaps will arrive in the warehouse in April, which 3-month turnaround actually seems a little generous, but I don't know how the queue is looking right now, so maybe that's actually true. See, Pudsey, I told you. Alright, so yeah, very cool stuff. Make sure you support this if you're into that. Vaminderon with a tier 1 sub 4 months in a row. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Says, oh hey, I'm not too late. Hope you're having a great night, Brian. I am. Thursdays are great. I love doing Top Clack. I seriously do. So Thursdays are often my favorite day of the week. Tomorrow should be pretty fun as well. All right, moving on to Novelkeys. We have kind of an interesting set that I'm honestly kind of struggling to wrap my head around a little bit, but you know, of course we'll talk about it. So here we have DSA Katakana. Oh, did I link the Calm Depths? I did, okay. So I haven't missed a link yet. I'm getting better at this habit. Here's the link for this one. So this is DSA Katakana in group buy phase through Novelkeys. Katakana is just like another... I guess I can't call it an input method. Another like style of writing or typing. Another part of the language in text format, I guess you could say. So we've seen a lot of hiragana legends and sub-legends lately, like a lot of them, but we don't often see some of the other Japanese characters you know, that you can find in katakana or kanji. So this is a slightly curveball here. One thing I noticed right away, price. Here's the alphas. So it's $80 for this alpha set. Here are the mods, which are blank, by the way. $35 for this mod set. And one thing you'll probably know right off the bat, if you're like me, is there is no compatibility here. You get nothing out of the ordinary standard 60%, standard TKL, or standard 104 layout. So, no, I'm sorry, not even 104. 60% and TKL standard only. That's it. That's it. So, kind of a hard pill to swallow. You got $115 here if you want to pick up the alphas and the mods. Obviously, you could just pick up the alphas and, you know, maybe use some mods that you already have, but still you're limited by the 6.25 spacebar, among other things. So, I don't know, man. I feel like standard layouts are, I mean, I guess they're still pretty popular. But, you know, a lot of people like me, you know, I know a lot of you guys use layouts that maybe aren't so standard. So it's kind of a bummer that we're not able to get this in anything besides a standard layout. But if you're really into, you know, the Katakana text, then maybe this could still be for you. This is designed by Emil. And this will be a PBT die subset through Signature Plastics. It's got the color codes there as well. I think I just missed a sub. ISO Returns just subbed with a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, my friend. Oh, okay. So in chat, Gio was saying, Mike said in Discord, the group buy is pretty much only for the alphas. Get the blanks from PMK. It's just there for ease. That makes sense. I didn't really think about that. That's actually pretty smart. So in theory, you would just pay for the alphas here, and then you can get your own mods, or presumably a different size spacebar if you need, from PMK directly. So that's smart. I didn't think about that. I apologize. That makes sense. Very, very interesting stuff, though. I do like different languages. I mean, we've seen so much. We've been drowned in hiragana lately, so it's kind of nice to see a little bit change there. All right, moving on to some interesting keyboard news. So Catweeby, the owner of SINGA Keyboards, is doing a collaboration project with TGR, which is a very classic custom designer that you guys probably all know and love. Lots of nice TGR keyboards out there. So this is a pretty interesting project for a couple of reasons. First, it's obviously a collaboration between TGR and SINGA, which is really, really cool. Whenever you see two designers come together and they do cool things, then they can often do cool or cooler things together. And I think that's something that we're seeing here. So this is the Unicorn. It's a 60%. Judging by this picture, at least, it does offer split spacebar support, which is kind of neat, I guess. The weight on the back has a nice little unicorn in it. And here are some nicer, somewhat glory shots. Side profile. So, not too bad. So, this keyboard is actually kind of interesting, because it does something that we've never seen another keyboard do before. So, let me go through some of these specs. Let's see what stands out. Alright, so for starters, it's a 60% tray mount case. The weight is PVD. It's engraved, and it's sandblasted. So the prototype is raw. That's why you see all these fingerprints and stuff. So in theory, the final version will be sandblasted PVD. Yeah, so you won't be able to mess it up with your fingerprints quite as easily. The universal plate will come in brass or aluminum. You have your choice between ONSI or ISO. A plate will not allow for switch top removal, so totally fine. They're not doing any polycarbonate yet. PCB, 60%, boot mapper client compatible. Alright, nothing too surprising there. 6-degree angle, alright, that's pretty darn reasonable. And what do we have here? Rubber gasket mount for dampening. Rubber gasket rests between PCB and plate. So that is actually kind of interesting. So this is, they actually have some pictures here of how it works. So like they say, the gasket actually goes between the plate and PCB. And I'm really curious to see Yeah, I'm really curious to see like how this would actually feel to type on, because I mean, though it's obviously not exact, some like OTD keyboards, like the 356 Mini, for example, use a gasket style that's kind of similar. It has a gasket between the plate and the PCB around the edge. So I'm very curious to see how this is actually going to act. I think the potential is definitely there for this to be kind of cool, and maybe kind of even out the consistency and alleviate some of the harshness that you get when you bottom out on a tray mount case, which is generally why a lot of people don't prefer it over a lot of other options. So here, definitely getting something really, really neat. Looking forward to hopefully trying one of these at some point. Weight with the caps, a little over 1.6 kilograms, so pretty reasonably heavy. Not ridiculous, but pretty reasonable. Offered in a bunch of different colors. You got black, deep red, purple, dark blue, and 2 more colors to be decided by a poll, so you can vote for the color that you want in that link there. Did I link this yet? I'm just going to link this again if I didn't link it. Can't let anyone know that I'm missing links. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff here. PCB is going to be purple with gold trace, and it's going to be USB Mini instead of C, which is kind of unfortunate. I do like that we've been moving more towards USB-C for a lot of stuff, even customs. So I feel like there's little excuse to still be using USB Mini at this point in time, but maybe that's just me. Here are your layout options, of course. And the base kit includes case PCB, plate of your choice, the rubber gasket, the mounting hardware, and a brass weight. So pretty darn nice. Price is going to be between $250 and $300 USD, which I think is actually pretty darn reasonable considering what you get here. You know, you get the case, you get the PCB, you get a plate, you get you know, all the mounting stuff, including the gasket, and it does come with a weight. So, I mean, that price alone is actually pretty reasonable, if I do say so myself. Shipping will be from Malaysia, and the GB will be held on SINGA Keyboard's website, singakbd.com. So shipping from Malaysia, probably going to hurt some of us. You know, if you're in the US, that's probably an easy $50 shipping, unfortunately. But you know, all things considered, it is what it is. Shipping sucks, man. Shipping costs are ridiculous sometimes, and you know, I think most or all of us have completely been there. But yeah, pretty cool stuff, and I like the ingenuity going on here. I think the design is good. I think you know, trying to better the normal tray mount experience, whether it be through a gasket or other means, is pretty darn smart and very meta in the community right now. So I like where this is going. I think this could be a winner here, guys. So this is an interest check, of course, so show some support if this is your thing. I definitely look forward to this, and I'm hoping to get one, so I can try it out. Next up on my hoping to get list is the Xeno 75%, currently on zealpc.net. So let me link that. I'm actually going to link the other one too. I don't know why these are 2 separate links for the boards, but I'll explain why. So I just put 2 links in the chat. The first one is, they're the same board. The only difference is the plate. So the first one is going to have your full plate like you normally have, and your second one is going to have what's known as a half plate, which I am struggling to find a picture of. There we go. So the way the half plate works, if you're not familiar, is it's quite literally a plate that has missing cutouts for most of your alphas. And the reason you'd have this is so you can get a slightly more flexible and natural feel while you're typing with your alphas, because the PCB, obviously without the plate, is going to be a lot more flexible, at least in that area. But then you have a little bit more rigidity and solid typing experience on your modifiers and other keys that have the plate there. So obviously this is something that is for some people and maybe not for others. It's all preference, just like plate material, thickness, all that stuff, man. Just like the rest of this hobby, pretty much. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. It's a pretty nice keyboard. I feel like I've been waiting for this keyboard for so long. Like, this has been an interest check for like, I think 2 years now or something. So glad we're actually finally starting to see it come to life, especially through Zeal. So pretty nice design. I do like it a lot. It's simple, but it's elegant, but it's still like it still has a little bit of design flair, which I do like. It does have a weight on the bottom that you can see there in some of these pictures. There we go, with the Ion Keyboard logo. Ion Keyboards is through designer Poner, who's a community member, awesome guy, and he was the one that had the design on this project. So $460. Definitely not cheap, but there's kind of a lot going on this keyboard as well. Also, something to note that if you buy it now, sometime before December 2nd at that time, you actually get it for $40 off, down to $420 if you use the early bird promo code there. So if this is something you're definitely interested in, then make sure you get it before December 2nd so you can save that additional $40. Anyways, let's check out the options, shall we? So pretty limited stuff here. Your case color, you have black, silver, or purple. Kind of a bummer that it's so limited, but I get it. Polished brass PVD color. So this gets a little bit interesting. So we have 3 colors here only, which is also kind of a bummer, but hey, it is what it is. Silver and black, obviously we've seen those before. That's nothing entirely new to us. And what's this? Rose gold. You get rose gold PVD brass. That is something I'm really, really, really looking forward to actually seeing. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of potential here. Pretty cool stuff. If I get one of these, 100% getting rose gold in as many things as I possibly can. I'll probably get the half plate model as well, just because I don't own anything with a half plate. Price is the same between them. So yeah, there's that. Specs, USB-C, awesome. QMK compatible, awesome. The PCB is designed by Wilba, who is quickly becoming probably my favorite PCB designer, just based on a lot of the innovations he's been doing lately, and his craftsmanship, I think, is quite freaking good. So, yeah, you get OnZ full plate, win keyless or win keyless only. Yeah, I'm trying to look at the ship date, guys. Sorry. All right, here we go. So the group buy is open from November 26th, which was just 3 days ago, to February 15th, 2019. So this group buy is open for more than... It's open for more than 2.5 months? Yeah, it's open for... Yeah, it's open for more than 2.5 months, which is really, really interesting. I honestly don't know why it's open for so long, but... I don't know. I guess it gives you a lot of time to save up if this is something you're into, which is kind of cool. Estimated shipping time frame is April to May, so they're looking at about a 2 to 3 month turnaround, which is maybe a little generous, but I'm just playing the skeptic here, I guess. Wait, what? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to read chat as well. It's hard. It's tough to multitask. 151 donates 100 bits, says use this link, zealpc.net/topclack support channel. Thank you for those bits, and thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, TopClack, if you didn't know, does have an affiliate link on Zeal. So if next time you're using zealpc.net, use zealpc.net/topclack if you want to also support TopClack. If you don't want to support TopClack, then don't use it. No harm, no foul. But yeah, maybe consider that if you're buying some new switches from Zeal, or maybe you're joining this Xeno group buy. So, anyways, getting back to it, it looks pretty darn nice, and based on how the quality of, this is kind of heavy, on the Zephyr, which I'm currently using right now, based on the quality of this, and assuming that it's probably going to be the same manufacturer because it's through Zeal, I would imagine that the Xeno is going to look and feel pretty darn awesome, because that quality really, really is there. So... Pretty happy about this. Looking forward to that. Hope you guys are as well. Alright, moving on. We have VE.A Second. So those of you might remember the VE.A as kind of this weird split 75% high-profile case that also kind of has like these 10 macro keys on the left side. This was actually a pretty darn popular keyboard. A lot of people liked it, and you know, for good reasons. It's a pretty nice keyboard. It has a lot of cool features. And, you know, this kind of came out when splitting keyboards was all the rage. So now they're doing a second run. Or, I don't know if I'd call it a second run. They just call it VEA Second. I think they're trying to avoid saying Round 2 or V2 or something like that. So, yeah, here are some stats on it. Well, I'm not going to read all this because there's a lot of stuff, but, you know, here's all your cool specs. Firmware made by winkeyless.kr, so that means it will use Bootmapper Client as the programming software, which I believe the VE.A Round 1 did as well. So nothing too surprising there. This one will have a swappable badge, which is kind of interesting. I do like the customizable badge. Something I did notice right away, and this was kind of a problem I had with the first one, even though I didn't actually own one. So if you notice here, any of you tech-savvy people will probably notice what cable this is. This is a SATA cable, which is very, very odd or rare to see in the keyboard community, and isn't rated for a terribly high amount of insertions. Giggity. So I'm curious to know why they decided to A, use this in the first place, and B, continue it on the second version of the VE.A. I don't know. I mean, with TRRS being so prominent, and I feel like I'm not an expert on cables, obviously, but I feel like there are better options than SATA to actually go through with this. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? Maybe you guys know more than me about this. Is the SATA cable the right choice here, or are there actually better solutions for this? I want to hear your thoughts. Anyways, judging by these pictures, it looks like this one actually will either come with a tenting kit, or at least have that offered. I believe the first one didn't. I don't remember if there's a tenting kit for the first one. I think there was like an aftermarket one, but not entirely sure. Molex? Molex would be pretty darn ridiculous. I do like these nameplates, though. It's kind of cool. You get a lot of color in these. Alright, so this is under the interest check section, but I imagine, knowing Oddforge, that this is going to run regardless. But, you know, show your interest instead anyways. Just, you know, if you're interested and you want to see it. Pudsy's surprise guest. No. No. It's really hard to, like, impromptu, like, bring on a guest during a show that's already live, because I have to, like, set things up beforehand. So having it not set up would be an absolute nightmare. Anyways, speaking of, you know, kind of ergonomic things and different things, we have something here that's strange, but interesting, I guess. This is the foldable mechanical keyboard. I don't think they actually have, like a real name for it yet. But, this is something I found kind of interesting. So it's what appears to be, judging by this picture, a 65%, excuse me, I say that because it looks like there's an extra column here on the right side. So presumably a 65%, and it's foldable. So it just folds in half, horizontally. Pretty sure, like right there. It looks like it splits in between this row, between your QWERTY and your ASD row. So I don't know. This I don't really. Oh man. I don't really understand this folding thing. I feel like this is not going to give you a whole lot of functionality by folding. I don't think you're like really benefit a ton from, but maybe maybe you do. Oh, did I forget to link? I'm sorry, guys. Of course, just as always, links will be in the video description of the YouTube VOD once that is uploaded, as well as on the Top Clack website, topclack.com, once the show's over. But yeah, anyways, back to this. Here's some basics on it. So it's low profile, 68 keys, Bluetooth and Type-C connection, which is pretty nice. White backlit, there we go. Aluminum plate, not bad. stand is built into the top of the case, so maybe that's how you get a little bit of angle instead of just having it be completely flat. Weight, so this is the full weight of the keyboard. Their cherry Switch one is going to be 485 grams. The Chinese Switch one is going to be 510 grams. Interesting. So you'll have a couple options here. There will be 2 with QMK compatibility and 2 without. And then within those segments, you can either choose cherry low-profile switches or Chinese low-profile switches, which Kale, I'm assuming Kale. Don't quote me on that, but I know Kale obviously has been doing a lot of low-profile switches lately, and based on your decision, that will affect the price. So the absolute cheapest you can go is $100, and that will be non-QMK compatible, and that will feature low-profile Chinese switches, and then that jumps up to $100. It jumps up $40, 40% for the same thing, but with cherry low-profile switches. That's a pretty significant bump. If you want QMK, it's going to cost you exactly $10 more based on configuration. So 110 for QMK with Chinese switches and 150 for QMK with cherry switches. Pretty interesting stuff there. We don't know a whole lot else, but there is a Google Doc that you can check out if you are interested in this product. It's got some measurements here that honestly are kind of whatever, but yeah, it's a small keyboard and it's foldable. That's supposed to be the benefit here. A very mobile kind of thing, because obviously with the Bluetooth as well and low-profile switches. So kind of interesting. Definitely show interest if you're into this sort of thing. All right, next up we have. Make sure I don't forget that link there. Bam. So we have a little bit of an update to the KBD6x PCB. So if you aren't familiar with it, it's a, I actually have one in here in my Winkeyless Tofu. It's a hot swap QMK compatible PCB, and it's not very expensive, and it uses an HHKB style layout. So here's the update. There's now an RGB version. So that is pretty cool. Not only are they offering the RGB version, this PCB is only $50. So to me, that is pretty darn interesting. So for $50, you get an RGB hot swap PCB that uses dual Type-C and south-facing LED switch cutouts. Love it. Absolutely love it. Freaking love it. And it's QMK firmware compatible, which is, you know, of course, nice. Very, very nice. Oh wait, hold on. I'm sorry. The RGB version does not use QMK. My apologies. It uses their own proprietary thing that if you actually... I don't remember where it is. It looks similar to the new VE.A configurator. It's looks like a very basic point-and-click kind of software. But here's a little video they added to kind of show what the RGB is capable of, and it looks pretty darn nice for a per-key RGB board, if I do say so myself. I know RGB is kind of a gimmick, but you know, it is what it is. They need to update this video because this particular video is quite old, and it doesn't even show like the production run PCBs. But yeah, $50, RGB hot swap Type-C PCB with its own configurator. Pretty good, especially considering it has the south-facing switches. Love it. Absolutely love it. I have been told by KBD fans I will be getting a review sample of this, so looking forward to trying that out. And I also ordered the HS60, which is you know, a kind of a competitor to this, but came out a little while ago from Dixie back not too long ago. So it'll be interesting to kind of maybe compare them side by side. I linked that, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. All right, next up on the topic list. This is kind of interesting for people that might be into Alps switches. So this is an interest check for, pardon me if I butcher the name, Xiang Ming KSB Alps Clone switches. So it's an Alps style of switch, but obviously a clone because Alps is no longer in production. So this is kind of interesting. I tried to do a little bit of research on this switch, but there's like only so much I could learn in the brief time before the show. But yeah, so basically it's an Alps clone, kind of like Matthias is, and according to them, they have a clicky and linear version. Those are the codes for that. And the clicky switches are noted for being significantly stiffer than Alps and Fuhua switches with strong tactility. So definitely could be something interesting to check out. I'd like to get some of these. Unfortunately, there's not a ton more info here, but there is a link to the Authority wiki if you want to learn a little bit more about them. There's a little bit more information there. So pretty interesting if you know, you're really interested in Alps stuff. Thought that was pretty darn fun. All right, now here's a little bit of an update from Switchmod.net owner Krell. You may or may not know, we've had him on the show in the past. But he's stepping away for a little bit, just a little bit, it seems like. Says a small apology letter from a tiny man down on his luck. So basically, this the summed up version is some personal and relationship issues have come up, and he doesn't know when he's coming back in the flesh. His store, Switchmod.net, will run like normal, but a bit slower as he takes a little bit of me time for himself. That's basically the general gist of it. And, you know, he thanks you all for being patient and stuff. Krellbit is definitely a memer, but at heart, he's a good guy. So definitely wishing the best for him, and hopefully he, you know, can sort out his stuff and come back stronger than ever and have a good time in the keyboard community, of course. So hoping that things go well for him. All right, next up, we have a pretty interesting topic. So if you guys maybe don't remember, Huey and myself, both representing Top Clack, were on a podcast a little while back called Keybtown, which was a popular keyboard podcast in our community run by a few different people, Wokechill, Tennis Shoe Ninja, and Dixie Mech. And they decided to go their separate ways not too long ago. But Wokechill, one of the former Keybtown hosts, decided he wanted to keep his dream of the podcast alive, and he decided to basically spearhead a new podcast and launch it himself, though he is working with Ham Kenobi as well. So this is the official launch of the Board Culture podcast. So Board Culture is the name of it, and you know, he already has a few episodes backlogged for that as well. So if you're into that kind of content and you need more of it, then you know, here is kind of what's up. I think Wokechill does a pretty darn good job at presenting information and interviewing guests. So I think this is a pretty cool thing if you guys are into this sort of content, and I hope it goes well for them. I mean, even though it is, like, in a way, on some level, a Top Clack competitor, like, the whole, like, soul of Top Clack is, like, bettering the community through, you know, information, education, that kind of thing. And I think anything that other people do to, you know, push that forward is something that's me and Top Clack as a whole just always want to support. So, good on him for keeping the dream alive for what he wants to do, and I hope it goes absolutely well for them. I just put the link in there. Sorry, guys. I feel like I'm still doing well on links today, but I was more on the ball last time. All right, next up we have a little teaser from Novelkeys, which I thought was pretty interesting. This only got posted like minutes before the show, like maybe half an hour before the show. So if you guys might not have remembered, a while back, Top Clack covered a little a super early teaser from Novelkeys that it was just an Instagram picture with a Star Wars logo. Like that was it. That was most of the information we had. So here we get to a little bit of a deeper teaser. We have Novelkeys now posting this picture of very obviously a Star Wars themed DSA keycap set, and he says, "Together we can rule the galaxy with the officially licensed," that's right, officially licensed Star Wars Galactic Empire DSA keycap set. And of course he has all of the tags as well. So pretty cool stuff. A couple things we can obviously see here. DSA profile. Not terribly surprising. And the alphas, at least in this particular version, will be kind of that Star Wars font. I don't actually remember like what the name of that language is. I'm sorry, guys. I used to be a really big Star Wars nerd, but I've kind of dropped off over the years. But you have some Star Wars language alphas there, as well as what seems to be a wealth of different novelties. Pretty interesting stuff. So this is obviously a Galactic Empire theme set. Something that a lot of people brought up immediately when they saw this was, is this just one of multiple sets? Like, is this going to be the only set? Maybe is there going to be like a Rebel themed set? Because that could be kind of cool. Have like a Rebel and a Galactic Empire, like kind of a dueling set thing. I think that could be pretty cool. But big news here. It's officially licensed by Disney or Lucasfilm, whatever. Pretty cool stuff, honestly. This is really big. This is really, really big. So can't wait to see a little bit more on this. Hopefully we'll get some more information soon. I tried prying some more details out of Mike before the show, but he wasn't having any of my nonsense. So we'll have to wait and see what what goes on with this in the coming days. But pretty darn cool. Next up, we have, I usually don't share meetup posts because there's meetups all the time now, like everywhere, and they're not hard to find if you just go to RMK. But I wanted to bring this up for two reasons: A, because I'm selfish and I will be going to it. It's a Seattle meetup, and B, this wasn't supposed to happen. So I wanted to. A lot of people were under the impression this wasn't going to happen because that was the original circumstances. But now they have changed their minds, and there will be a Seattle winter meetup. So if you guys don't know, Brandon is a friend of mine in the Seattle area, and he has been hosting the last several mechanical keyboard meetups in Seattle, like all the big ones and stuff. He does an amazing job. He's an absolute workaholic, and he's freaking awesome about it. But he has too much of a workload for the major meetups that he's been doing. So basically, what's changing is, he said in the past that he was just going to drop the winter meetup because he just didn't have time to put all the effort into like all the back end stuff of the meetup. But he decided to change his mind because other people wanted it. And now we actually will be having a Seattle winter meetup, but this one won't be like a lot of the other meetups that have been going on lately. So this one is gonna bring it back to the basics, guys. There's not gonna be sponsors. There's not gonna be giveaways. There's not gonna be any kind of like photo booth or crazy like entertainment stuff. You go there, you set up your keyboards, you look at keyboards, you type on keyboards, and you talk to cool people. The OG style of meetup, and I absolutely love that. I feel like a lot of meetups kind of take away from that these days because they try to accomplish so much. So happy to see this happening. I will be going there. It'd be cool to see any of you there as well. Always, if any of you will be going, make sure to come up to me, say hi, type on my keyboards. I'll type on yours. I won't eat Cheetos first because I don't like Cheetos. So pretty darn cool stuff there. Happy to see this. Anyways. So that actually that wraps up our news doc. So let's talk a little bit about our sponsors. So Top Clack does have 4 sponsors, if you weren't aware, and they help us do the cool things that we do. And they are also cool people as well, and that's why we selected them as our sponsors. So starting up, first and foremost, we have Kono.store, aka Input Club, doing a ridiculous amount of stuff these days, actually. So right now you can get the pre-order for the Gemini Dawn or Dusk, which is that $140, what I've been calling a K-type killer lately. Looks pretty darn good. 140 bucks gets you hot swap, RGB, TKL with underglow, USB-C, all the goodies, fully programmable. Really, really good stuff. So it's like the K-type, but cheaper and better. Pretty darn cool. Of course, just like we talked earlier about, they have GMK Calm Depths group buy already starting for that very, very good price of $125. It's been a while since we've seen GMK sets at that price. So happy to see that. And of course, if you guys weren't also aware, GMK Shoko is still currently running for $138. Offers ridiculously good compatibility, and it's a very nice looking set. That ends on December 17th, so you still got a few weeks left on that one. Well, sorry guys, getting sick is brutal. Of course, they do still have Night Fox and White Fox keyboards in as well. So definitely head over, check them out, join one of these really cheap GMK set group buys, or pick up one of these cheap K-type killers, the Gemini, Dusk, or Dawn. Next, we have Z Frontier, and I don't know why I'm on this link, but it's a good place to start out, because this is one of the cooler things they have had lately. So Z Frontier, the Beast in the East, coming at you. They have these really cool key-creative UV printed ABS cherry profile keycap sets. I actually have some samples, but I need to rebuild a board with a standard layout so I can test it, because they didn't send me the compatibility extras. So, rip me. These start at $35, and what's cool about these is you kind of just pick what you want. You pick your colorway, there are lots of different options, and then you pick whether you want sub-legends or not. And you have lots of different sub-legend options. So, pretty awesome to see. I have been poking around with these, and they actually do feel pretty good. Obviously, they're not super longevity-driven because of the UV printing, but hey, it's a give and take. For starting at $35, it's understandable. Of course, they also have the Typewriter 68 up, and they still have the Black Friday / Cyber Monday kind of sale going on until the end of November, so it's ending like tomorrow, guys. So you can still get discounts on a lot of things. You can check out this list here. I'll post all the links for the sponsors when I'm done with them. Sorry, guys. So still lots of stuff to check out. They have lots of key sets in stock as well from all sorts of different manufacturers. Next, we have Novelkeys, who we just talked about doing that Star Wars key set. Look forward to that, of course. They have cream switches in stock as well right now, which you can still pre-order for the pre-order price of 55 cents per switch. Then they will go up to 65 cents retail after that. So pretty cool linear switch, very new, very kind of innovative from what we've seen in the past. And of course, you can pick up lots of other cool things like desk mats or JTK Hyperfuse or the previously mentioned DSA Katakana group buy. While you're there, make sure you use promo code TOPCLACK just for you guys. It gets you 5% off your total order. Big plus there. Last but not least, we have ZealPC.net, aka Zeal Generation, who is, he's been doing all the new Switch stuff lately. He's got all of his V2 lineup, all new Zelios, all new Xylants, the brand new Silent Linear called Helios, and even the Telios got a little bit of an upgrade as well for the V2 happening. And I've been using all these switches lately, all the new switches, and like they're all pretty darn good. So, of course, he also has the Xeno that we were talking about earlier. You can get in there and get one of these sweet full plate or half plate versions. And you get an awesome keyboard at a, just an awesome quality keyboard at a pretty reasonable price. I won't say it's a low price. It's obviously not cheap, but I think you get what you pay for here. Pretty cool stuff there. So if you do want to support Top Clack and buy something from Zeal, make sure to use the affiliate link zealpc.net/TopClack. That gives me a little bit of a kickback. Doesn't cost you anything extra, of course. Just gives TopClack a little bit of a kickback when you buy stuff from Zeal himself. So, it's hard to like continuously talk for so long. I'm really looking forward to 2019 when we bring on Jay as my co-host, so we can actually share that. Talisman Solution donates 2,000 bits. Wow, thank you so much. That is awesome. I appreciate that, man. You guys are awesome. All right, so moving back, we can roll into a bit of a Q&A. So if you guys have questions, I hopefully have answers for you, whether they are about keyboards or keyboard-related things or not. Make sure you ask away and use the @TopClack tag so I can see them a little bit easier. Definitely appreciate it. ISO Returns starts us off with a question that says, did you also try the V2 Xylants? And my answer to you is yes. I have them in my M60A right here with GMK Olivia on it, looking freaking stunning, of course. But yeah, I have the stock 78-gram Xylants in here right now, and honestly, I think they're amazing. Like, even for a stock switch, I am going to lube these eventually, but even for a stock switch, they're surprisingly good. and relatively quiet. They're not as quiet as the Helios because obviously the Xylants are a tactile switch, and with the way the tactility is implemented in these V2 Xelios and Xylants, it's a lot rounder, it's a lot bigger, it's right at the top. It makes the switch very snappy. So you still get a little bit of an audible feedback when you bottom out with these switches, but the Helios are definitely much more silent. If you know, as silent as possible is what you're going for. Moving back to the popcorn, 2018 top drama. What drama are you talking about? I know the pandas are very dramatic right now, the new pandas. Hey man, sometimes you gotta embrace the fingerprints. I do have microfiber cloths to wipe it off. You know, I guess the new Panda Switch is probably the top drama right now. Probably the most controversial, one of the more controversial things going on right now in the community, for sure. Pluto19 asking, thoughts on Holy Panda's beard? I don't get what you're saying here. Q&A time? Yes, it is Q&A time, guys. Make sure to get those questions in. Use the @TopClack tag so I can see it, please. Thank you. Talisman Solutions asking, next upcoming build. I'm going to do something tomorrow with the pandas. So I have no idea what it's going to be yet, but I want to put them in a board. So whether I desolder something or build something new, I'm going to be putting them in a board. So that's going to be my next upcoming build. Just don't know what it is yet. I won't know until either later tonight or tomorrow. But the pandas should be sitting in my mailbox or at my apartment complex's front office. So after this stream, I'm going to go grab them, and then I'm going to you know, start testing them, and then I will be doing a stream with them tomorrow, where I'll have more thoughts and testing and experiments going on. Blammy Boy asking thoughts on new XD64 V3 that just launched. I actually don't know what that is. Can you oh, here you didn't get. Sorry, I'm gonna take a look at this link real quick. Let's check this out. Let's look at this together, guys. So it looks like we have a custom 60% XD64 V3, $130. Not too bad looking at the case. Universal plate, yeah. That's kind of just sometimes how it goes. North-facing LED switches, that gets a big thumbs down for me. I just don't like that anymore. Just not worth it. Design, not too bad. Looks alright. It's pretty simple. That's a lot of compatibility, or a lot of layout support, so that could be cool depending on who you are. Case layout options. Oh, you got... Oh, wait. Kylan? Who is Kylan? I don't know. Apparently you have an HHKB version for the top, which is kind of cool. Oh, the aluminum case is by Kylan. Huh. Looks okay. It looks okay for, I mean, for $130, it looks pretty good. Oh, you mean HPAG's beard? I don't know. I don't think I've seen it. I don't know if I want. I don't know if I want to see it. Zerpocalypse asks, can I send you a render of a new key set I'm working on other than Hooklamania once Tess finishes my render? Yeah, you can always send me anything. My DMs are always open to be slid into. It's Undone saying 60 cents per switch for the Chinese group buy for the pandas, $1.50 for international. That's too much. Yeah, I mean, at the same time, I mean, I'm trying to stay as neutral as I can about it, because I just want to get them in and test them and get proper information out to people. Like that's my goal here as Top Clack. That's my duty here. But I do think the price is a little high, although I think saying it's going to be $1.50 per Switch is it's silly because there's no way it's not going to sell enough to reach a lower price. Like there's no way it's going to be $1.50. We're at least going to hit the $1.20 price point. I have no doubt about that. I don't think the dollar price point is out of the question either. Not that I'm trying to defend this. I do think they're a little bit more expensive than they should be. But I also don't know the entire backstory. Maybe there's some kind of reason. I don't know. I'm not taking sides here. I'm here just to test them and get information out for sure. Monkey Plus Plus asking, have you experienced lube on linears becoming more inconsistent over time? No, not really. Although, to be fair, I don't think I own many boards that, like, I've kept for, like, a year or 2 years or more that I've lubed, like, that long ago. I rotate stuff a lot, and I swap things out a lot, so I don't often, like, just use the same thing for a long time. What in the world are with the squares on the PCB? I have no idea. Probably just, like, see easier where switches should go for maybe newer builders. That'd be my guess, at least. Blammy Boy says thanks and donates 100 bits. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Geo saying the $1.50 is at the lowest MOQ, which is never going to be what people pay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's cheap. Obviously, it's not cheap. It's not a cheap Switch. Like, we can all agree on that. But you also can't say it's going to be $1.50 when there's no way it's not going to sell enough to be at a lower price point. That's all I'm saying. Secretly, all Quakeums loves is getting free keyboard shit. Getting free stuff is cool. Sometimes I have to pay for things too. Sometimes I don't know. It just depends on like who it is. Some people are like they want to send me stuff for free, and I'm like okay. And sometimes I'm just like I want to try that, so I have to buy it. It's a give and take. I won't argue that it's not cool though. Obviously, getting free stuff to check out is cool. Trinity the Gamers asks, thoughts on Godspeed DSA PBT glow in the dark Minuteman kit. Can you link that? I don't think I've seen that yet. Godspeed DSA PBT glow in the dark, huh? Is glow in the dark gonna be like a new thing? I've already seen a couple sets with glow in the dark in. Is that just gonna be like a 2019 thing? Because I kind of hope not. But I don't know. Maybe people are into that. GMK Carbon ends today. All right. Well, there's your shout out for that, guys. GMK Carbon ends today. If you still want it, go get it. It's on Master Up. Tika Man is asking, how long do you suggest breaking in switches before lubing? My ballpark is usually like 2 weeks, but it also kind of depends on other things. Like, for example, like Zeal switches, I usually won't even break in because they're already pretty darn smooth to begin with. But other stuff, like maybe, you know, retooled blacks, I like to give a little bit of a break-in period too. So just to try to get them that little extra mile. It does help. It is noticeable. If you just heavily use that board for like a week or two, you'll definitely notice a difference. Make sure you use all the switches though. That's a trick. I break in some switches by hand a lot as well. Like if I'm doing like anything, like I often just have a switch or two in my hand, like just trying to press them, particularly at off angles, so you can kind of minimize the roughness on off-centered key presses. But yeah, definitely, I'd suggest heavy use for at least a week. At least a week. 2 if you can. But just make sure you do all the switches, because you got to have that consistency. That really helps. Alright, so we have a link to this Godspeed PBT glow-in-the-dark set. I don't... hold on, wait. I guess I can transition over here. I don't really know what to think about this. This is pretty interesting. I don't think I'll ever care or get a benefit out of a glow-in-the-dark set, but I suppose that could be really cool. I do like Godspeed as like a normal colorway, but this is obviously not a normal colorway. This is just black and white by the look of it. Presumably because glow-in-the-dark. So kind of interesting. I don't really have any thoughts on that right now. Please no glow-in-the-dark or 3D sets. I don't know, man. I mean, like it's gonna happen eventually, right? Like it's innovation for the sake of innovation. Talisman Solution asks, any news regarding Huey? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Huey has been reviving his old YouTube channel, Man of Interest, and he has been putting out some content lately. So he's still very much in the community doing stuff. He hangs out on the Top Clack Discord a lot. He's been doing stuff on his own YouTube channel. He's still going strong. Poochzag asking, following up on break-in, will switches still break in once lubed? I'd say yes and no. Like, it's kind of a hard question to answer, because I think there's more variables that go into it. But generally speaking, I would say yes, but a lot less breaking in. I think usually what happens is, and like usually after I lube switches and I use them for a week or two, I do notice them being even a little bit smoother than they were previously. But I think that's maybe less to do with continually breaking them in after lube versus the lube just spreading out more evenly as you use it, and it just getting into all the right places during the use itself. So that's my theory, at least. I'm not gonna say that's confirmed or anything, but that's what I believe currently. Pluto19 asking a preference on carbon salt novelties versus Oblotsky's nice novelties. Neither are really for me, but I probably the nice novelties if I had to choose. Mog Genius asking V2, I'm assuming what you mean is V2 Xylence versus V2 Zelios. What do I prefer? I don't know. I think I like them about the same. They feel very, very, very similar. One is just quiet, and the other one is not. And obviously the the silent one is quieter, but it has like a very small amount of like mush when you bottom out, because it does obviously have a dampening material in it. It's definitely not nearly as mushy as a lot of other sound switches that I've used, but it's still like slightly there. And obviously the Zelios won't have that, so I think depending on how rough you like your bottom out, that was not intended to sound sexual, but yeah, I think that'll kind of determine what is better for you. But like other than that, they feel very similar. I would say the Zelios maybe are a little bit smoother stock, like a little bit. The Zelios feel like ridiculously smooth stock, and like the Xylence feel very smooth, but not like 100% smooth, if that makes sense. Neurowinter asking, what key do you put your novelties on? I don't really ever use novelties, honestly. Like for my M60 and I have GMK Olivia on it, Like I use the heart novelties for my Windows keys. I guess that's about as crazy as I get. Starson3 asking, Zelio V2 or Holy Panda, which is your preference? Oh man, that's like the question of the century right now in the community, huh? I don't know if I have a hard preference one way or the other. I think they both have their merits. I think so. Like the way the V2 Zelios work is the bump is like it's more than just immediate. It's almost like when you start the press, you're already in the bump. And so you actually get a little bit more hang time, like after the bump. There's like more of a dead space after the bump. Whereas Holy Pandas don't start you in the press, they start pretty much right at the top. So the bump actually takes over most of the press. It's a different experience. I think I'd probably prefer Holy Pandas in some instances, and I'd prefer Zeal V2s in other instances. So it's really hard to say. I think it would be based more on like what the rest of the board is, like what kind of case I'm using, what kind of plate I'm using, maybe what kind of lube I'm using, what kind of sound profile I'm going for. Like in my head, there's so many more factors than just like, is this better than this? Because it's tough. I think the Zeal V2s are a very, very, very good alternative. I think they're much smoother, especially stock. They're much smoother than Holy Pandas. I think it's a similar enough tactility to where like I think if you like one, you'll probably like the other. It's just some minute differences. And obviously, Zeal V2s are A, more accessible, and B, a lot cheaper than Holy Pandas. So, you know, you gotta keep stuff like that in mind too. If someone were like, man, I really want to try Holy Pandas, but I don't have a lot of money, and I don't want to take switches apart, I would just be like, get V2 Zelios. Like, it's a very similar experience. It's not necessarily better or worse. Great question, though. Great question. Into blanks or nah? I mess with blanks. I mean, I bought JTK Red Riot. So I'm still waiting on that. I have some Gateron blanks. I wouldn't say blanks are my favorite, but I certainly don't mind them. I actually, since you're here, I saw the your M60, your silver M60 with the black blanks on it on Instagram. That looks good, man. Like that looks really, really good. Any Overwatch stream available? I'm probably never going to stream games on this channel again. So I streamed a little bit of Overwatch the other day, and like some people watched, and some people were totally into it, and a lot of people wanted me to stream it. And so I was like, okay, whatever. Like, what could happen? And then like a couple people after the stream were like, oh, like I don't want to be like pinged for that kind of stuff because it's not what I want to watch on Top Clack. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So I think if I do stream any more games, Overwatch, whatever, it'll either be on my own personal channel for Twitch, not Top Clack's official channel, or I will make like a secondary Top Clack channel where it's like Top Clack's other life stuff, or it's like gaming, or maybe I'll start like a cooking show. I don't know, just stuff like that. But I think as far as this channel goes, it should stay strictly keyboard content related. Melodit asking, have you tried Halo stems and V2 Zelio housings? I actually have. I have one. Yeah, I have one right here. So this is a V2 Zelio housing and the stem from a Halo as I drop it. Come back. So I have tried it. I think it's cool. I'm not in love with it. Obviously, the travel is cut short because the extra long pole of the Halo stem, so trimming that might be something to think about. As far as like the tactility goes, it's actually less tactile than a normal V2. So if you want more tactility, I guess I would not do this. It feels fine. It feels good. I think I still prefer the normal V2 feel over the hybrid with the Halo stem. But it's kind of neat. Pluto19 asking, any word back from Mike regarding the sample lubes? So, no, not yet. I drew up a little bit of a Google Doc, Google spreadsheet, I guess, technically, where I listed them all, what rating I gave them out of 10, and then some comments on each of them. And I sent that to Mike, and he said, thank you very much, and I haven't heard anything about it since. And I mean, obviously that was, you know, the day after Nathan and I streamed the lubes like a week or two ago. Zerpocalypse saying you should make your own channel for streaming. Yeah, well, I have a personal Twitch channel that I have used in the past for gaming. I might just do that, and like, I don't know, maybe I'll have like Top Clack host it or something like that. Like, 'cause I don't want people like watching, like thinking that I'm going to be doing keyboard content or like non-keyboard related content on the Top Clack channel, because you know, in hindsight, I shouldn't have done it, and I should just keep it keyboards only. Even if people ask me to do it, I'll set up an alternative. So yeah, I'll either do my personal channel or I'll think of something else. Talisman Solutions asking, what was the resolution of the USB related issue on the Zephyr build? Who knows? It works totally fine now. Like, it's totally fine. Like, it works. I have no idea what was happening. Those of you that maybe want a little bit of backstory, I did a build stream the other day with my my brand new Zephyr that I snagged on the discounted Black Friday sale on Zeal's site, and I was having a lot of issues with the USB on the PCB. I'm not sure if it was the USB port or something else going on, but it was an absolute nightmare. And I spent like an hour on stream trying to like figure out what is going on, and I just couldn't figure it out. But like the next day, like everything was working totally fine. It's the strangest thing, but not complaining it. Mukbang? I've wanted to do a mukbang at some point. If those of you that aren't familiar with what that is, it's not as dirty as it sounds. You want a cooking show, please and thank you, says PMS and Chicken. I would love to do cooking videos. Viminderon asking, will you be getting in on JTK triple shot? White or black or white on black or black on white? I think I'd have to follow up. I think Z Frontier is sending me a triple shot set to try out, so I'm hoping that happens. If that doesn't happen, I will probably buy one. Yes, because I think triple shot is worth checking out for sure. Whether it's white on black or black on white, I don't know. I think both are good options. I'd probably get the white on black, honestly. At least first. Maybe I'd wind up beating both. Who knows? IZ Fan X just subbed with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that, my friends. And I know I haven't mentioned it in a very long time, but I might as well pimp it anyways. If you guys have Amazon Prime, that means you also have Twitch Prime. And what that means is you can sub to any channel that you want for 1 month. You gotta redo it every month, but it's free for you guys. So if you guys aren't supporting any other channels on Twitch with your Twitch Prime sub, maybe consider helping out Top Clack. It does help Top Clack out a lot when you sub or donate bits or any of that kind of stuff. So, you know, just consider it. It's free. Alright, as the FanX asks, thoughts on gasket mount designs that have been popping up recently? I absolutely love it. So I had the pleasure, about a year ago, maybe a little bit less, to check out the OTD 356 Mini, which is an old gasket mount Korean custom. And I absolutely fell in love with how it sounded, and how it felt, but more how it sounded. So, absolutely loved it. And then I got into the meme, which was a gasket mount 65% private group buy. I have that. I've used it quite a bit, and I love that as well. And I think that there's a lot of interesting things you can do with gaskets, especially because, like, it's not necessarily that expensive to implement a gasket solution. A lot of times it's pretty cheap to do a pretty rudimentary one. So I'm really, really, really loving the fact that people are actually trying to push that design, like the Unicorn 60% that we talked about on the news doc earlier. I think there's a lot of potential for really cool like upgrades to existing designs, basically, just by adding a gasket somehow, somewhere. So that's my thought on it. I think there's a lot of potential there, and I'm really looking forward to it going forward. I think we've already seen several come out already. We've had the Staccato interest check go up, gasket mount board happening in 2019, the Volcano 660, a relatively inexpensive gasket mount coming out as well. So people already launching gasket mount products, and I'm all for it. I think 2019 is definitely going to see more of them. Definitely happy about that. Cpang05 asking, could you potentially put rubber washers in the KBD67? I've never used that keyboard, so I'm not sure what is and is not possible in that keyboard. But anything's possible. If you find washers that are, you know, maybe small enough and fit the actual design and profile of what you need, then anything's possible. It's probably worth experimenting. I mean, the worst case scenario is like you buy some cheap washers, they don't work out, and you try them on something else. Jay has? What has Jay done? I've been around asking, what's a good r/mech market notification bot? I have no idea. I almost never even use mech market anymore these days. So I don't know. I don't know what bots people use for that these days. Update on Mike's High Pros? I have no idea. The Novel Pro profile is what I'm assuming you're referring to, the high profile keycaps that he's doing. I haven't heard anything about those in months. Alright, I'm going to be heading out here in just a moment, guys. So any last minute questions, make sure you get them in now so I can answer them before I head out. I need to get some food because I haven't eaten yet today, and that is bad. Maybe I'll do an Overwatch stream tonight on my personal Twitch channel. You know, which I'll throw up in the Discord, and maybe I'll have this channel host it. I don't know, we'll see. But might stream some Overwatch. Could be fun. We'll see. But yeah, definitely not streaming directly to this channel for Overwatch anymore, for games. But yeah, any last minute questions, make sure you get those in right now. Did you ever write a review on the Novelkeys cream switches? I did not, and here's why I did not. Because I knew pretty early on that he was going to go through multiple revisions and changes of the composition of the plastic, the palm. So I didn't want to review something that was going to be substantially different than the final product. That's always the problem when I review like a prototype or something, right? Because like sometimes it's a final prototype and it's like that it's exactly what's going to be the production model, and sometimes there's a lot of differences. Like I remember Z Frontier sent me the Alf Renovo X3, really cool looking board, really liked it, very interesting. So they sent that to me and they're like, hey, you can have this to review, and I was like, awesome. And then he started telling me all the things that were going to be changed, and I was like, it's like a totally different board at that point. Like I'm almost not even reviewing the same board. So it's not worth me being like, here's how I feel about this, and then here's everything that's changing. So just so you guys know, like that's kind of my thought on it. So I try not to review things that are going to be drastically changed, because then it's almost like an entirely different product, and the review is worthless, and the effort put into it is almost worthless as well. Melodit asking, how are you feeling about the thick integrated plate on the M60 so far? What switches are you preferring with it? So I haven't really played around with anything else with it yet, because I've had so much other stuff to do. The only switches I've put in here so far are the Xylants, the new V2 Zeal Xylants stock. That's all I have with it so far. So I still have a lot of experimenting to do based on using other switches and determining what I feel is good and bad. I need to try some linears. I need to try some clickies. I need to try some tactiles that are not silent, because I have some experience with integrated plates. I mean, I have a Tokyo 60 that has an integrated plate. I've had other boards with integrated plates. I'm not totally unfamiliar with it, but I've never owned one that has 4.5 millimeter thick, or whatever it is. I think it's 4.5 millimeter thick integrated plate. So we'll see how that goes. I still need some more time. Mr. Petrov asking, as a slightly heavy typist, I'm super curious how you find the stiff fixed plate on the M60. Yeah, so like I said, I need more time with it. Like when I'm using the Xylence, it feels really good. I think that's partially attributed to the fact that the Xylence have a bit softer of a bottom out than a non-silent switch otherwise would. So I think that softer bottom out definitely helps. But we'll see. Uh-oh, Pudsey puts a link and says review this. Ugh, that's not scary at all. Polycarb TGR Alice plates. I don't even have an Alice. Okay, I'd have to get an Alice to review this, and there's no way I can come up with like the $800 or $900 that people want for an Alice. You could send me an Alice, and I'll test it. Pudsey, please. Exactly. Mr. Petrov follows up and says, interesting, thanks. I suspect maybe progressive springs might go well with linears and the Rama boards then. Yeah, that's actually something I'm really looking forward to as well. I think that's one thing I'm going to be testing very soon, is some of these progressive springs with something neutral that I'm very familiar with, like a retooled black. I'll probably throw those in the M60 just to try that out. I think the progressive springs can have a softer bottom out too, because they ramp up the way they do. Wait, what are you guys talking about? Make it now, please? Make what now? I don't understand what you guys are saying. We've been around asking, have you talked about the new WASD QMK controller GB? Oh no, I totally forgot to add that to doc. Sorry about that. I do know it exists though. It's like the what's that, or what's that controller? WASDAT. Oh, excuse me, guys. If you give me 120, I can make you the proto plates. Why would I pay you $120 to get a plate for a board I don't own, and probably never will own? Something about this doesn't make sense in my head. Oh, you're talking to Olivia? My bad. My apologies. Go to bed? Nah, it's still early. Alright, guys. I am going to head off for this episode, though. So, look forward to a stream tomorrow from me, most likely. Sometime late afternoon, evening start time, Pacific. I should have brand new Panda samples in hand. I'll be talking about them. I'll be testing them. I'll be experimenting. I'll be lubing and building with them. It'll probably be a pretty long stream, but hopefully we all get some good information and discussion out of it. So look forward to that tomorrow if that's something you're into. I don't have an exact time yet, but if you keep an eye on the Discord channel, linked below, our official Discord server, you will have a better idea, because I will definitely post before it happens. But aiming for probably around 5 p.m. Pacific, 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific is where I'm aiming for. So anyways, thank you guys all for watching and supporting, all the subs from you guys, all the bits. Definitely appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Like I just said, link for the Discord server, official Discord server, down below. make sure to join that. You can hang out with us, play games with us, ask questions, talk about whatever. We got channels for everyone. YouTube channel also linked down below. Make sure you sub to that. I have a lot of new YouTube content coming out very soon. Promise, guys. Seriously. So thank you all so much. I will see you guys tomorrow if you guys will be hanging out with me there. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week, same time, same place, Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, for another official episode of Top Clack. Thank you all very much, and I will see you guys later.